Hello everyone. Today we are going to see understanding extended system ID and why the STP bridge priority must be in multiple of 4096, right? Now anyone working with multiple versions of VLAN, rather multiple instance of VLANs and multiple versions of STP, they would understand, right, that you have to set the ID to multiple of 4096. Now before we go into that, we need to understand a little bit of the basic behind it. As you know, every switch has an identity. When they are part of a network, we call them as bridge ID, right? So we call them as bridge ID. Let me select the pen. Okay, and just a second. All right, great. Every switch has an ID. We call them as bridge ID. Bridge ID. This bridge ID is an 8-byte field which is divided in two parts. Okay, so this is divided in two parts. The overall length is 8 bytes. Okay, the first part is 2 bytes and this is 6. 6 byte consists of MAC address information, 2 bytes consist of bridge priority. Nice. The bridge priority is configurable, right? You can change this. You would know that if you want to make if you have a switch which is already as acting as a root switch, and if you want to change the other switch as the root switch, then you can obviously change the bridge priority and then that switch will become the root switch. If you would like to know more about the root switches, you can see my other video. Okay, but the MAC address is something that you cannot change, right? It is fixed. Okay, now as far as if you have just one instance of STP running, this is all fine. You don't need to change anything. You don't need to have an extended system ID. This will keep on working absolutely fine without any problem. Okay, but with time the network began to grow and became more and more complex, and VLANs were introduced, right? So instead of just running one single VLAN, multiple instances of VLANs were introduced, allowing the creation of multiple logical and physical networks. Because of multiple VLANs, it was vital that multiple instances of STP should also run, right? Multiple versions of STP should also run. This multiple instance of STPs are called as like multiple spanning tree, which is MST, or per VLAN spanning tree, which is PVST, or per VLAN spanning tree plus, which is PVST plus. Now to accommodate the additional VLAN information, okay, the extended system ID was introduced, right? This extended system ID will borrow some bits from this, because this is configurable, right? This is not. So you cannot make any changes here. You have to make the changes here. Okay, so how does that work? This, now we will not talk about this. We'll leave this side. Okay, and we'll create a bridge priority, and let's just have the MAC address somewhere mentioned here. We are anyway not going to change anything here. Okay, so this was divided into two parts. This is your bridge priority. Okay, it was divided into two parts, right? Let me just clean up a little bit and then I'll explain you again. Okay, sorry about if you've been hearing any noise in the background. I'll try to remove them, but if you still hear it, my apologies. Okay, so let's get back to here. So this bridge priority was divided into two parts. This still remain as the bridge priority. This became extended system ID. Okay, this 4 bits and this one as 12 bits, right? We only had 2 bytes here, so we have to divide that 2 bytes. One, we still need to have the bridge priority, because without the bridge priority you cannot participate in the election process. Now since this is something that we cannot change, hence we borrowed some bits from the bridge priority and introduced extended system ID of 12 bits. All right, so this is the logic why you need the extended system ID, so that if you have multiple versions of STP running and multiple instances of VLAN running, those all individual VLANs will be identified by their own IDs. Okay, hence you needed extended system ID. Now let me explain you the logic behind. Let me clean up the screen a bit and explain you the logic behind the second question, why the STP bridge priority must be in multiple of 4096. Okay, so I'm going to clean this up and go back to the other section. Okay, so just to understand it a little bit more, okay, let me draw a 16-bit value here. Okay, so we say 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1024, 2048. So this is the 12 bits. As you know, every bit is assigned in value. I'll also draw the other 4 bits. Since my screen space is limited, so I'll draw it just right below this. Okay, let me draw 4-bit value here. Now continuing from here on, this will be 4096. Moving further, 8192, and further 16384, and the last one 32768. Now you remember why it is defaulted to 32768, right? So this is the division of your 12 bits, right? Sorry, completely 16 bits. Okay, so this is 12 bits and this is 4 bits. To squeeze in this information between your complete ID, if this is your MAC address section, this is your bridge priority, to squeeze in extended system ID here, right? You have to do that. This accommodation, this needs to go here, right? This will be squeezed in here. Hence, it's always in multiple of 4096 because it starts from here, right? Anything before this, which is like 2048, 1024, 512, this whole 12 bits needs to be accommodated here. Hence, we always multiply our bridge ID in multiple of 4096. So I hope this has clarified all your concepts related to why the extended system ID is used and why bridge priority must be in multiple of 4096. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Thanks.